What's up? What's up? What is up? Another episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk because it is another Friday. The sun is out on the East Coast. There are two of the three of us here in the building. We're going to get it in today with the episode going by the title of Must Have Bumped Your Head. For those of you who've never heard that saying before, make sure that you stay tuned. Like we ask you every week, humbly, please like, please comment, please share, please tag a friend, please tag a foe, please tag anybody you know, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. This is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. You are in the right place at the right time, and it is the right crew to bring you sports, business, entertainment. Do it one way and one way only. Rough, rugged, and raw. With no further ado, boys and girls, cats and rats, dogs and frogs, pull up a nice chair. Make sure that you guys have headphones. Make sure that you are tuned in. Pour you a nice mug of coffee. Pour anything in it to spike it because the Ball Hog Sports Talk is coming to you this morning. So let's go.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw, so come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go.
Once again, it's on. Once again, it's on. I'm in front of this microphone because it's a Friday, man, and we are in the building. You know who it is, man. It's two of the three. We are going to represent on behalf of ETP. Not feeling well this morning. Might have caught a case of that good old winter to spring, and that weather change, man. But we do have from the Middle Coast, the man, the myth, the legend. Thou shall be known, respected as an intergalactically approached as the Big Flow Show. What's up, my brother?
Man, what's good? I'm just trying to stay away from the boogeyman. I've been hearing my friends out there getting caught up, getting sick. Hope everybody feels better, but I don't want what you have.
Yeah, man, keep that thing, man. Especially as the weather is changing, the sun is coming out. It's going to be the best time to not be sick, if there is a good time to be sick. But we do wish him well. We do wish him well. How's the weather in Chicago, man? Because out here in New York, New Jersey area, it's starting to feel a lot like spring. I don't know what it's looking like in Chicago.
I would say that it's feeling like we're going in the right direction. You know, we've had a 70-degree day here and there. Then we got like 44 currently. That's not that bad. Not doing so bad. But I'm thinking about y'all. You let me know out there. I'm thinking about losing my beard for the spring. Let me know what you think. Do I keep the beard? Do I lose the beard? If you don't care, then don't say nothing mean to me and stuff. I'm sensitive. Just don't comment. But I'm thinking I might have to cut this beard today. It might be the day. I always pick
That's how you know
day.
spring, man. You feeling like shedding a layer of the facial hair. You want to show off the facial with
all the skin. I want to show more skin, you know.
do
kind of covered up.
Do your thing. Today's episode is going by the title of Must Have Bumped Your Head. And in the South, we got these sayings that I assume the rest of the world knows. But when you hear that, must have bumped your head, what do you immediately think? If I say that to you, hey man, Flo, Big Flo, you must have bumped your head. You think what when you hear that?
Are you saying we bumped heads? Or are you saying I must have bumped my head?
I'm telling you, you must have bumped your head.
Something ain't right. Something that came out of my mouth or something I did was my behavior or something didn't make sense.
That's why we gonna take that title and run with it today. Because there's a lot of stuff that happened in sports, business, and entertainment this week that just didn't make sense. We had the NFL Combine. We got NFL free agency. We got NBA injuries. We got a whole bunch of stuff. But the week for us, because we define our weeks based on Fridays, the week for us starts with, to me, one of the best highlights ever. And when you hear must have bumped your head, there's no way you think that you're talking about that literally. The person that started off our Ball Hog Sports Talk week took the saying, the figurative saying, you must have bumped your head, and he did it literally. This person, Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, who people have said is the next Michael Jordan. And when they say that, I look at them as an MJ fan and say, boy, you must have bumped your head. Hey, so look at him. He look just like him. He might be his biological son. I say, boy, you must have bumped your head. Mike like white women.
He's so stupid.
He does. So that couldn't be his kid. He's too dark.
Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan. Nowadays, Michael Jordan
got all black kids. Stop it. All the ones that Anthony Edwards age is all. Man, we got us off topic. You know, we were getting crazy, man.
But what I didn't think, and what you must have bumped your head, was he's actually going to bump his head. Anthony Edwards was, I guess it's better to show it than to say it. Because I can show you better. I can show you better. I can tell you. That's another one of them sayings that we say down south. I can show you better. I can tell you. But let's watch Anthony Edwards. The game is a tight game. Last night, NBA action. Anthony Edwards takes the saying, "You must have bumped your head," and does this.
Watch it. He misses the free throw though. I don't know if you swore you started.
Yeah. I think he might have set the whole thing up to miss the free throw. Right.
To become the hero.
How can you become the hero? All right. How can you become the hero at first? You got to do something like this. Miss the free throw.
Give Minnesota a 3-point lead. He missed it. Pacers are not going with a timeout. They advance the ball. Nesmith lays it up.
Oh, man. A defensive play as Nesmith was trying to get to the rim. They block it.
He said, that looks at it all.
At 113-111, the Pacers have a shot blocked.
Aaron Nesmith wondering what happened.
And it's Edwards with the block.
That boy, that man has been on both sides. Ant-Man has been.
So I raised that here on this show. The title, "You Must Have Bumped Your Head." How dare we not start off with showing the literal version of "He must have bumped his head."
Didn't bother him too much, though.
It did. He hit the ground rather quickly. He complained about it in the post-game interview. And the tape, when we reviewed it, shows that he indeed bumped his head. Ant Edwards went off last night, 44 points. While he did miss the free throw that would have put him up by 3, the chase down block, while we have celebrated the infamous block from your boy LeBron James on Andre Iguodala, this block seems to me to even top it. Now, the stakes weren't nearly as high. That was the finals, NBA finals against Golden State. So the stakes weren't nearly as high. There weren't nearly as many eyes on it. But from an athletic standpoint, I gotta be honest. For everybody that said the Ant-Man is going to be the new face of the NBA, for everybody that said he's going to be the heir apparent to Michael Jordan, for everybody who made these lofty statements about Ant-Man that I rebuked and might have said something like, "Boy, you must have bumped your head," I apologize. Because that's next worldly stuff. To chase it down, see where he jumped from, and to not just make the chase down block, but to bump his head in the process, I'm willing to say that it's at least up for debate. Ant-Man Anthony Edwards might be the next one, man. He might be the next one.
We stretch a little bit, but you know what? That's what we do sometimes. We stretch.
You don't think so? I mean, not too many. How many other players in the NBA make that athletic of a play? It's pretty impressive, man. On the same night, he goes 44 points.
I just did that in the men's league. Yes, never. But sometimes, you know what I'm saying? It happens. It's happened before. That's not the first. Let me see. It wasn't the first time.
It wasn't the first time.
And none of those people who did that before turned out to be Michael Jordan. So I'm saying that's not enough evidence.
Fair. But in bumping his head, man, he took the figurative cliche statement that we always use and made it literal. Shout out to Ant-Man. He is doing it in the absence of Karl Anthony Towns. And I don't know, but I would imagine if he's able to pull this off, because while they were number one in the Western Conference, when Karl Anthony Towns had a torn meniscus, which we'll get to later, people start questioning whether or not Minnesota had enough. And since Karl Anthony Towns' injury, I think they're 4-1. Ant-Man might immediately be pushed into the MVP conversation. You got Joel Embiid down, so
we just start talking on this show, huh? We just start talking.
All I'm saying, bro, I mean,
it's a great block. It was a great block.
A great block.
Next topic.
Great
I mean, what are we doing?
I mean,
he bumped his head.
who wins the MVP then? My point is this: is that he's in the conversation because of all the other injuries, right? I mean,
I see where you're going.
Jason Tatum, maybe. But
I see LeBron's available, but I don't know. Might as well give it to LeBron.
Yeah, might as well give it to LeBron.
Or just give it to Jordan.
Just give it to Jordan.
Michael Jordan. I mean, since he's
that's why they're gonna give it to Edwards. They said Ant-Man is the new Jordan. So they're gonna give it to him. I did like the fact that he didn't quit on the play after a missed free throw. And Ant-Man plays the game at a certain pace normally, and that pace is always aggressive. But in that moment, to have a chase down block after missing the free throw, which he could have hung his head on, is a great example for all them young players out there. Don't let a bad situation be worse. Go make it right. And he made it right. And then some. By bumping his head on the damn.
Shout out to your boy Maceo. He one of your bros.
Maceo, what's up, my brother?
Y'all can do all y'all little things, little gang signs y'all throw up.
Man.
Y'all do all that with him. But he got that boogeyman too. That's he got the same shit Ellis got. He trying to get over the boogeyman.
Feel better, good team. Feel better, dog team. But yes, you see I got on the purple. I just knew he was going to be here.
Yeah, I see y'all a little something.
Got a little something. But in other news, other people that must have bumped their head. We saw this week that Dartmouth officially joined the union, their men's basketball team. And the vote was 13-2. 15-person roster, Dartmouth. I want to know who the two players are who voted against it. But 13-2, so they have been victorious in their bid to join the SEIU and become unionized as members. At the heart of this conversation, whether or not Dartmouth could be indeed considered a union or to join a union, at the heart of it is whether or not, and they joined SEIU Local 560. Shout out to the locals in the building. But at the heart of it was whether or not.
So what union is that? What union do they go under? Is that just a general labor union, or I thought the unions were always
a labor union, but it's one specific SEIU. I think is service union.
Okay, I would say most unions are associated with the trade, right?
Yeah, like but the SEIU is really, really broad. But it's anything I think broadly considered service. SEIU, and then you got the locals. They joined Local 560, which I assume is up there in whatever they at New England. I don't know where Dartmouth at, but wherever it is. So they joined the SEIU Local 560. But in order to do that, they had to, being the men's basketball team, had to overcome a few objections. The one that is most obvious was Dartmouth. Dartmouth, the university, was saying that Dartmouth College was basically saying that the men's basketball team were not employees. Northwestern tried it several years back. The National Labor Relations Board in this week ruled that indeed it could proceed. And, Dartmouth asked the NLRB, National Labor Relations Board, to overturn the decision by the agency's regional director to hold the election in the first place. But it didn't work. So let's start there. Are college athletes employees?
I find it odd that Dartmouth would do it. And the reason why is because they're in the Ivy League and they don't provide any sort of compensation whatsoever to their athletes. So there's no sort of grant aid or anything.
Not necessarily, not purely athletic compensation or reward or grant aid awards. So they are all
walk-ons. They are all walk-ons, so to speak. They do not have athletic scholarships in Ivy League of any type.
Right.
So I think it's mostly are all need-based. If anything, I don't even think they offer academic scholarships. Most schools, I don't want to overstep because I might be wrong in that.
They don't offer athletic scholarships. They do offer academic scholarships.
They do academic scholarships. Yeah. So my point in this is that it's interesting that it would come from a school that doesn't give you compensation of any type for your play.
Right. And that's what Dartmouth was saying. Specific to their student body, to their men's basketball team and all their athletes, they were saying, these athletes could choose not to play, so they are technically not employees because none of them receive athletic scholarships, which are banned by the Ivy League. So that's what makes this even more monumental.
Very
Because
weird.
if Dartmouth men's basketball team is considered
Employees.
their employees, then the sort of pay for play and the exchange of athletic award, grant and aid, or whatever you want to call it, on a year-by-year basis, which requires each athlete at these Power 5 schools to sign a contract, then you could easily see how those athletes will be deemed employees. That's what makes this such a monumental moment in college sports. But let's deal with it on more of a practical grounds, right? Your son is playing Power 5, he's playing football. You know the exchange that they make. You know the exchange that you and I made at Notre Dame. Do you think college athletes are employees? Because that has been at the heart of the matter. It's what has prevented Northwestern and other programs from being in a union and benefiting from collective bargaining. But this might be the tip of the iceberg, and the tide might be changing forever. So what would you say in terms of defining those college athletes and student athletes on campuses as employees?
I have a little bit of a difficulty when I think of them as an employee, and there's reasons that come to mind. Like in Illinois, we're an at-will state, right? We're an at-will employee, so we're not a contract law. So I have a job, and they can decide they can fire me for any reasons that's not under the protected classes of race, religion, sexual orientation, or whatever else that they have under protected classes, age. So I'm an at-will employee, so you're fired. So if in fact they are employees, can you fire a kid in the middle of the season if he's an employee? If he has a bad game, can you fire him? If he does whatever, can you just throw him off the team in the middle of the semester?
I think the involuntary push that schools are now being accused of, and I would even say they would own up to it. There's an involuntary push that they are making for certain athletes getting the transfer portal.
So the labor laws in each of these different places, and again, I'm not totally, you're the attorney on the screen, so I'm up to snuff on the labor laws. Now, within a state, I'm sure there probably are. I mean, obviously, you work with the major league teams in Illinois are contract employees,
Okay.
So they have contracts there. I'm sure there's partnership groups that have contracts and different things and golden parachutes, whatever. So I think if they're going to be considered employees from a high level, yes, you could think they're an employee, that they definitely are working and they're providing a service to the school. From that standpoint, I think some of the other protections that employees are given or not given, I think don't really apply to a student athlete that's going to be there. Northwestern, for example, you sign into a 4-year agreement, a 4-year scholarship when you're there. So technically you don't even have to be on the team anymore. And you have a 4-year scholarship to be on the team.
They're unique. Northwestern is unique in that. Let's make sure we point.
They're
that
unique
out.
in that by choice of the other schools.
You got to do a year by year, but Northwestern, you make.
But the NCAA allowed 4-year scholarships years back, and Northwestern was trying to be on the forefront of that, let you know how much academics are important. And I actually just recently learned that you could quit the team and still be on it without doing it. I didn't realize. I thought you still had to be part of the team, but you could actually quit and you're still on a 4-year scholarship. So that said, I don't know. Are they employees? Yes, kind of. I think they're definitely providing a service. I definitely think they should get paid, but I don't know the definition of employee well enough to say whether they meet all the criteria. Evidently, there's a court system out there that agrees that they're employees. So I would think that they know better than me.
Yeah, I just think that this is like gonna open up Pandora's box, because if indeed this men's basketball team is considered qualified, they are qualified to be employees, then man, it's an easy leap into understanding why other programs that aren't Ivy League would indeed be employees. And you think about the time, the commitment, you think about the somewhat involuntary nature of that commitment. On days where you don't want to go to practice, you still have to go to practice. I think when I think of it from those terms, it does feel as though college athletes are employees, right? You've got to commit a certain amount of time in order to achieve the objective of the institution, your employer. You've got to avail yourself, whether it be to the media, to fans. You've got to do things that whether explicit or implicit, are indicators of contractual relationship. And so that's where I'll say they are employees. But we shall see. The payment part, and I said this from the beginning of NIL, it was kicking the can down the road. The institutions, in this case, Dartmouth College, and in our case, whether it be University of Notre Dame where we played, the institutions are ultimately going to be responsible for some form of compensation, and that's why this is a big deal. Because if indeed they are members of a union, in this case, SEIU Local 560, if they are members of a union, then there is a collective bargaining that normally goes along with it. And then the threat of a strike is always looming. And that's where the compensation, something will be triggered. And whether it be Dartmouth College, which is unlikely because of the way that they get their student athletes there, but you could see a situation where student athletes could use their collective bargaining power and the threat of strike to cause an institution to pay some form of compensation for the services, work related, of their athletes. And that's where we are. I'll give you last word on it, man, because you're in the throes of it. Go ahead.
I think the problem with this and every other cause that was taken up, Ed O'Bannon went through and fought for the NIL for stuff well beyond his chance to benefit, unless he went back and did some sort of a backwards lawsuit. I think the problem with this and every other time when Northwestern did it is that the people who are most heavily impacted are on a shot clock, right? So you have 4 years, 5 years, although nowadays maybe things are changing now that you can play sports until your 30s, as long as you have a COVID year and injuries or whatever. You have all these people, in their 7th and 8th year of playing intercollegiate athletics.
But under normal circumstances,
you only have 4 years. So, even these guys, like at Dartmouth, you think, are these just kind of people that want to be their name to be in a history book somewhere? That's why I kind of laugh at the two people that voted no. It's like they don't want to be a part of this, especially when you know what the vote's going to be. Like, do you just vote with the group anyway, just because, or you wanted to be when they write the thing, your name is going to be on the other column of the two that said no. But the problem is with this Dartmouth, okay, they won this case and now they can unionize whatever, and these guys are going to graduate next year, the year after, before they can form it and go on with their lives. And who's going to care? Who's going to carry the torch? And that's the problem. That's the reason why it's taking so long for athletes to get paid. That's the reason why it's taking so long for the transfer portal. If they would have been guys to group together, this thing could have happened in the 80s,
Right.
But people are like, all right, I got to get in here, get out. I got to get my degree, or I got to get to the NFL and get out. And I don't care as soon as I get out. So I think that's the issue there.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, man. But very interesting times when it comes to college athletes being able to join a union. So shout out to Dartmouth, man. Ivy League leading the way. We shall see how it plays itself out when it comes to compensation for athletes. But a very big step in the right direction if you're one of the people that has defined college athletes as employees. And when you look at the time that you have to spend, when people say, man, you ain't no employee, I would normally respond with something like, man, you must have bumped your head. When they say, all right, man, you're getting fair compensation by getting a free education. When you start putting the numbers on the back of an envelope, my response is, man, you must have bumped your head. How's that fair compensation compared to what we're bringing into the university? And that's what was used in this case to define them as employees. They use stuff like the amount of money that they make on having the athletes there and the exposure, the amount of donations that they receive from alumni that is connected to either directly or indirectly because of these athletes. And so when people say, yeah, man, it is what it is, you're getting a free education and that should be enough, my response has always been, you must have bumped your head. And in this case, the court agreed with me. And so we'll see how it plays out. Shout out to Dartmouth. There was other news that has taken national headlines, New Jersey news. And when Manasquan, a high school in New Jersey, got robbed by Camden, I could make a joke there. Camden is known as a real tough area in New Jersey. Like, I hung out in Philadelphia one time, and somebody was like, "Hey, we're gonna hang out in Camden," and people who knew the area like, "Nah, y'all ain't going over in Camden." Not to be disparaging about Camden because it's also a great place, but has that reputation. But Manasquan got robbed, and again, it's better probably to show you than to tell you. But this high school game that ended in controversy, to set the table for you, Manasquan is a predominantly, if not exclusively, white program. It's playing Camden. Camden is where DJ Wagner went last year, and what's the other kid named from Kentucky? Aaron came from. So Camden is a notorious team, national ranked team at last year. Number 1 and number 2 in the state. This might have gone down one of the biggest upsets ever.
You said the Camden is a great place. What's your 3 favorite things about Camden, New Jersey? I mean, it's great. When things are great, they typically have many attributes.
I can rattle them off.
What are your 3 favorite things about Camden, New Jersey? I'm just curious. I mean, for our listeners who've never been
there. Camden High School basketball will be one of them.
Okay. I want to share.
Camden is a tough area, man. I mean,
a couple people here who've never been to Camden and never had the pleasure. So, like, if I was in Camden tomorrow, like, what would you say I should do before I can get up out of there? Like, where should I stop?
I would say you should get up out of there.
Okay. I mean, it's a great place.
In that order. Get up out of there before you do the things that I suggest. That's messed up, man.
Give me your 3
Hey, anybody listening from Camden, I apologize up front, man. I ain't mean to put y'all out there like that. But Camden is notorious for a lot of things. Not a lot of them.
Being a great place to visit is not one of them.
It's a great place to leave.
Yeah. It's a great place to have a full tank of gas when you get there, so you don't have to stop.
Do not stop.
Don't stop.
But no, man, look, and it's funny because the dude said it to me. I was like, I'm young and dumb at that point. Man, I ain't afraid of my people. Like, you know what I mean? We gotta stop being afraid of our people. And
afraid of some of them.
Yeah, like you gotta be.
Hey, it's not the people; it's the circumstance. Be scared of the circumstance that you enter into. But I mean,
I'm afraid that they don't know me.
Anybody out there from Canada, man, just give me and kindly put in the post like, what's the 3 best things about Canada?
3 best things about Canada.
And then we'll just, you know what I mean?
I don't like how you put me on the spot there.
I just laughed when you said it. You're like, oh, no, not disparaging about Canada. It's a great place.
Great place. Respectfully. Great place.
Okay. Let's talk about it. I'm sorry.
I don't mean no disrespect.
I don't mean any disrespect.
But somehow, some way, man, because they got robbed and because it was recorded, this high school game in New Jersey that was leading to a state championship has become national news. And so at the risk of spoiling it, it'd be better to just show it. Let me go ahead and present this. You crazy.
Do you still have it up there?
So I do have it. I'm gonna pull it in there. Let me get it in there. That's what happens when we miss an ETP, man. I gotta figure out how to do it. He left us, man. But just for the day.
For the day, don't make the announcements that.
Yeah,
that might be an ESPN ticker. ETP leaves the Ball Hawk Sports.
Yes,
that's not what happened.
Hold on, let me figure out where it is first.
I hope he at least watching today. I know you're not feeling good. At least watch.
Yeah, hopefully he's watching us today, man. Hold on. All right, let's see here if I can share it. Give me a second here. Let me work through my difficulties. All right, that's there.
I bet Camden got good food. I bet you if you went to Camden while we fill the time. I bet you get a nice gyro over there.
Oh man, you crazy dude.
Slice of pizza. I bet that pizza's on fire.
Honestly, that man said beef
sandwich.
Good things about Camden.
Yeah, just your 3 favorites.
I wasn't expecting it. It's not that I can't. I just was unprepared. All right, so let's share this, man. Manasquan High School and this outcome has been deemed tragic. All right, so here we go. Let's watch. All right.
Now a lawsuit in response to a controversial end to a New Jersey high school basketball game. We showed you the video yesterday. Manasquan celebrated what they thought was a buzzer beater win over Camden during a playoff game Tuesday. But just minutes later, the refs reversed the call. The suit filed on behalf of the Manasquan boys basketball team is seeking to stop the state championship game from being played until a state superior court weighs in. Today, Governor Murphy called it a crushing way to lose a game.
Feel very badly for particularly the players and coaches and their families that had one snatched from them.
The NJSIAA said yesterday, after being shown the clips, a second official agreed the basket should have counted. But they added, once the officials leave the court, the score is official.
That's an interesting nuance. Once the officials leave the court.
Yeah, well, they should have left the court right after they made the right ruling, but they stuck around.
Yeah, but it sounds like even Governor Murphy is saying, hey, sorry you lost.
Yeah, sorry, but nothing we can do about it, folks.
Nothing we can do about it. It'd be interesting.
All right, so let's go there, man. Let's start here. And several people have tried to overturn the results of games because of unfair decisions by referees.
Were they in Camden at the time? Or was
I don't know where the game was. More, it didn't look like it was Camden. Just looking at the optics of
I just thought it looked interesting when I heard them say once the ref leaves the court, it's final. And I'm questioning whether they stayed on the court based on their own decision or was somebody from Camden keeping them on the court, letting them know
I don't know.
You better not see the last foot come off this court. But my thing is this: okay, there's been lawsuits. Many lawsuits about games and outcomes. We had a famous, if you're from the Chicagoland area, I don't know how many years back it was, but it was Fenwick High School versus Plainfield North High School. At the end of the game, the kid from Fenwick goes back and throws the ball in the air to stop the clock. I may be a little bit off on some of the details because it's been a minute. But they called intentional grounding. They were awarded Plainfield North change of possession. Actually, Macio's son was on the team. One untimed down, and they kicked the field goal. Either they won it or went to overtime. The bottom line is the rules are clear. You don't get one untimed down because of a change. The team, a game can't stop on a defensive penalty, but it can stop on an offensive penalty.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it was unjust. It was clear cut. The game would have been over. And they couldn't overturn it in court. Now you're going back to the clock on whether they could review the time and whether they could do this. It was an opinion whether it was over. I don't think that poor Camden. You don't have a chance. Camden won. The other team.
Camden won, but now Camden is set to play Newark Arts High School, who I think I know one of the kids on that team. I think that's my man actually. My Carl, who was listening. I think he's on that team, but. The superintendent of Newark High School was like, hey, I'd be willing to delay it and wait for them to figure it out because I think he would much rather play Manasquan than Camden. And I don't know enough New Jersey high school basketball to make this a definitive statement, but I would imagine, and I got to just say assume, that this would have been one of the biggest upsets ever. And the state rule says that the referees are not permitted to use film in order to make their judgments. So I don't know how they overturned the call. I don't know why they overturned the call, but indeed they overturned the call. So I guess we're going to start here. And I want to make sure I say this because in this Generation Z, what I think kids think is that somehow, some way, life is fair. And I would tell you all here on the Ball Hawk Sports Talk on this morning, in this episode of our show, that you must have bumped your head. Life simply ain't fair. And the quicker we appreciate that, the quicker we just own it that life ain't fair, we can move on. There is human error that is a part of the game. Now, this is very interesting because the undertones of it is Manasquan is extra white as a town, as a community, as a high school, as a team. Camden is extra black as a city, as a community, as a high school team. And so the undertones and the people just saying the irony of it is that you want to right this wrong while it shouldn't be about white and black, it is what it is. Governor Murphy weighing in, how many different times in sports has, whether directly or indirectly, whether explicitly or implicitly, race played a decision in the way games were refereed, the people are saying the irony of this becoming national news. Now, this was captured on television or on film. It's been shown and shown over and over again. The angle allows you to capture the timestamp. One of the additional referees has said that indeed the shot should have counted. So I'm not saying that Manasquan and its team and its community and everyone that supports the idea that we should get this right. I'm not saying you don't have a bone to pick. I'm not saying you don't have a legitimate gripe. What I'm saying is sooner than later, we got to let kids know life ain't fair. And as soon as you think it is, I will respond to you that you must have bumped your head. You are in some place of being delusional. Life simply ain't fair. The fact that this has gone now to a court ruling, the fact that people have suggested that we delay the game, the fact that we know that when the state championship game happens, there have been threats of protests and people coming out and showing their support for Manasquan is the definition of this fake Generation Z belief that life is somehow fair. Shit ain't fair. Get over it.
True that. I just think at this point, people will forget and realize that it's not the first time it's been national news that there's been a team. It's not the first time somebody tried to sue. It's not the first time that this is going to fail. I feel bad for the kids, and I see the parents trying to make things right for their kids. And trust me, I have to sometimes check myself, trying to make things work out for my kids too much and let them fail, let them fall down, whatever. I don't fault them because at the end of the day, the love for a child is greater than any love that you could ever face. Love for a child or a parent or however you want to call it. But the family love is, and it's going to make you do crazy things. There's somebody on that team that's going to sit there and say, I won't stand for this. We're going to sue. It's not going to work. I'm here to tell you, you're not going to be in the national or state championship game next week. It's never happened. It's never been overturned. The judge is just going to say what? The fact that the judge has to see something like this, a basketball game, like when they have murders and divorces and violent crimes and all kind of real serious things coming up, it's not going to happen. So it's good for stories. Made good. Thank you for allowing us the 7 minutes to talk about it, but you're not going to go to the championship game. Just go on with your life. Make other plans. Like you're available. When someone says you're available next week, you say yes, because you're not going to be playing the championship.
There was a judge that did rule, said Superior Court did not have this jurisdiction to prevent Saturday's state title game. So it'll happen at Rutgers. It'll happen with Camden playing Newark Arts High School. It'll happen despite the fact that Manasquan was absolutely robbed. So let me be clear. I'm not defending the decision. Manasquan was robbed, right? And I'm making sure I don't try to make another joke about them being robbed by Camden. But they were robbed. So all of those things are true, yet the rules are the rules are the rules are the rules. The film that has captured inequities and unjust outcomes, been several videos of it, has never overturned a call. Human error is a part of it. Now, if you want to question how that human error came to be, and if there are some motivations, right? But especially in New Jersey, where corruption is rampant, by all means, go for it. There's been several people indicted because of political corruption. If that's what you want to go with it. But you can't expect this to be overturned, and it is what it is. The fact that it's become national news is kind of embarrassing. People are like, yo, what happened, man? Well, they tripping down there in Jersey. No, they tripping everywhere.
Everywhere.
Referees.
That's not even the only time that day that somebody got cheated from a sporting event. Not even that day.
And then how granular are you with the video? Because I'm watching the video and I'm like, hey, you know what? Technically, I mean, you could question whether or not on the rebound, did the kid walk before he put the putback on? And I'm nitpicking, right? He didn't. Yeah,
did they start the clock at the right time?
Right. It's like it's so many different.
Does the video sync up? Is there a delay? Come on. I'm sorry that happened to you. It sucks. You're gonna tell your grandkids about it. I still talk about the fact that we got cheated for the national championship. Florida State, we should have had the championship since we beat them head to head and with the same record, whatever. But nobody really cares. At the end of the day, the record will reflect Florida State was championship. So now I'm doing podcasts with my guy. That's what we're doing.
Hey man,
maybe life would have been different If
we got that natty.
we got that natty, maybe some would have been different. Who knows?
I do feel bad for them, man, but it has become a big thing. And then the question becomes, how did this become national news? Of all the high school games, even ones captured showing injustices, how did this one become national news? But yet it is national news. So I feel bad for Manasquan. Great season. It would have been, and you deserved it based on just the small clip that I saw. You deserved that win. But the fact is, I just saw a small clip. There could have been 0.5 of time error throughout the game. There could have been several calls that put you in position to win the game.
Human error could have made the shot.
Right. So a governor weighing in on this just shows how quickly, if the right circumstances are there, how quickly people take hold of a story. But Manasquan, I don't think you're going to end up in the state title game. Camden shall be there. Bring one home for Camden, baby.
Go vacation in Camden and next weekend. Y'all, it's going to be, you know what I mean? It's going to be free. All the good things you could do there. I think there's a few attractions. Go to Camden and spend your weekend, Camden.
Said no one ever. I would
bring money back to the community. You know what I mean? See what you got.
Shout out to Camden, man. Oh, you asked me to name one of the things I like about Camden is all of their state championships in basketball. How about that?
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. We got the rest of the show for you thinking two more things. But
shout out Camden. But to think this is going to be fair, fellas, ladies, men, women, boys, girls, cats, dogs, rats, dogs, frogs, and anybody and everything in between, when you think life is fair, my response to you is you must have bumped your head. Life simply ain't fair, man, and it's never going to be. Let's just accept it as such. What we did also see this week in sports business entertainment is the bridge. It is the portal, if you will, the transformation from what is still, wink, wink, being defined as amateur football to the professional ranks. And the bridge that is normally used happens in Indianapolis, Indiana, at this place called the NFL Combine. The NFL Combine happened last weekend. We started the show and talked about it, but then some things occurred since that show and this one. And the one thing that occurred that has stuck out to everybody occurred in 4.21 seconds. 4.21 seconds, and it is worthy of the record. Shout out to Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver from the Texas Longhorn, who broke John Ross. It was about 2 years ago before he got in this trouble. Whatever it was, 4.22. And Xavier Worthy is now the single holder of the fastest 40 time in NFL Combine history. We watched it. It looked fast. Even in the simulcast, when it went next to Ross's, it looked fast. He is now a 4.21 40-yard dash record holder in the NFL Combine. Now, if you're looking for several highlights from Xavier Worthy, you won't see it. He was a game changer, but it seems as though people might be using that time to make a decision. What did you think about the 4.21? And then let's get into how people's times, how their performances in the Combine translates to the NFL success or lack thereof.
I think the proper term that comes to mind is him fast, right?
Fast. That boy fast. Pick him up, put him down.
Fast. You pick him up, put him down. He a little on the light side, but you know, we've seen lighter. We've seen light guys before. I look at the Combine and I kind of have a side eye and I say, all right, he ran a 4.21. How come this is the first time I've heard of him? How come he's not Marvin Harrison Jr.? How come he's not was it Azula? What was the guy's name from Washington? Who's real good.
We got to call him the receiver from Washington.
I like him. He's my favorite in the draft. But anyway, I just think when you're that fast, you know what I mean? Like 4.4 is I still think that's fast, but it's 4.3 is the new 4.4. But like
you're the defensive end. Last week we celebrated the fact that a defensive end ran a 4.4. And there were two.
But when you're a 4.21, that's ungodly speed. Just play off, get off the line, and you should just pew. But the fact that I know he's a good receiver. People are saying that he's going to move up in the draft, probably the first round. But you can't look at that. I mean, was something Darius Hayward Bay? He ran like a 4.2 something.
Came out, I think, in Maryland. Yep.
And he got drafted by the Raiders, and never heard of him. You know,
he ended up being a special teams guy. But yeah, I get your point. You're making the point.
He wasn't a 4.2 guy. Now that's God. God, if Jesus had to run a 40 right now, I don't know if he can get under 4.2. You know, they had man Usain Bolt ran a 4.22. They said he was wearing Jordans and or Tim's and
in retirement. In retirement, he ran a 4.2. There is this thing where they're talking about one of the sprinters and whether or not he could break 4 seconds. And I can't remember. RG3 challenged him and said, "I'll give you $100,000 if you could break 4 seconds in the 40." So, I mean, speed is what it is. The question then is, does it translate? Because we use these numbers in the NFL Combine. You pointed out Hayward Bay. There's been several examples. I think Ross would have had a good career. He's also the one, unfortunately, got the DUI and killed someone out in Oakland. So his career was derailed not because of what he could or could not do in football, because of off the field things. But whether it be the 40, in this case, now we got Xavier Worthy breaking the record of 4.21, and someone's going to take a plunge and give him a shot. Or whether it be,
I just hope it's not the Bears.
225 a million times. The NFL Combine has become the litmus test as to if you perform well there, then you get an opportunity. Audric Estime, who broke a 70-yard touchdown at some point, ran a 4.71. That's a running back from Notre Dame. He's from Jersey. He's a Jersey kid, St. Joe kid. Ran a 4.71. And they're saying that if he's drafted, because no running back has been drafted, has run slower than a 4.68 in I don't know how long, he would have to break that record. So now he went from being maybe the third running back off the board, possibly the number 2 running back off the board based on his productivity at Notre Dame in 3 years, decided to leave early, to 4.71 seconds later, in an instant, in a flash, they're saying might have led him to be undrafted.
It only took 4.71 seconds to mess up your whole career. That's kind of a weird way to look at it, but very interesting and very telling. I look at it like this. He ran a 4.71 when he ran that 70-yard touchdown. Some people have game speed. Some people can do whatever. Some people do. I do think he's going to come to the pro day and he's probably going to drop it down to a 4.5. I bet you he's had a bad day. You know, the combine, although I was not there.
I had the bubble guts. Ate the wrong thing in Indianapolis.
I was not invited to the combine, which is still probably a bigger tragedy than the Camden basketball game, that I was not invited to the combine.
Let's take it to court. Let's take it to court
and sue. You think I can go back and sue and get to run? They'll let me run today.
Y'all must not. But, you must have forgotten who I am.
You must bump
not inviting me
to the combine. But it's a long day, and it's not a day that you're going to say, like, when you think about a football game, and this is another problem I have with it. It's like you're in there in your underwear and your shoes on and do whatever. Audric Estime is a real strong guy, right?
Strong.
So
swole is what
so let's say he ran a 4.7 in draws and track shoes. I bet you put the pads on him, he still give you that same 4.7, whereas everybody else is going to slow down. That dude is 165 pounds and ran a 4.2.
5'11", 165 pounds. That used to be called a Walmart cashier. Now that's maybe a first rounder, baby, because he ran a 4.2.
You put 20 pounds of what you think equipment costs? Weighs about 20 pounds, 25 pounds?
No, not that much. The whole equipment,
helmet, shoulder pads, all that. Nothing.
Nah, probably about good 12 pounds.
Good 12 pounds. You add 12 pounds, that's damn near 10% heavier. He might not be able to carry that. Audric Estime, when he really you put a 185 pound DB on his back and he don't slow him down. Yeah. He keeps it moving. So I don't like that they do it. I just saw somebody compare Joe Alt, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame, and then and Crum, the running back from Michigan. They benched 225 the same amount of times. People ask what
Blake Corum.
Blake Corum. And then they're trying to, what's the significance? Nothing. We watch them both play football. All is a great tackle.
Not to mention, like, Blake Corum is 5'8". Like, he's got a lot.
With little short arms.
Shorter to go. But yeah.
The film don't lie. Whatever the hell he did on the film, he benched that much when he did so when those guys change their body for the combine, they lose some weight, they get faster, they do whatever. I'm like, okay, you know what? He's taking things seriously. He's trying to be a pro. They changed it. I can see it now. I got to look at him a little differently. But you see the same guy you saw on the film, man. Move it up, man.
So with saying that, because it sounds like you're saying that, yes, show up, get the medical test, answer the questions, do the S2 or whatever. I think that's what's supposed to be replacing the Wonderlic test. Do all of those things, but let it be a very small fraction in terms of what you're using to weigh your decision. So let's go on the other side of it, because a guy like Caleb Williams, who is rumored to be going number one to your boys, the Bears, the who? The Bears. They would need to get rid of Justin Fields, who, while he struggled, proved to be serviceable and is absolutely one of the top, I would say, 25 quarterbacks in the NFL. They would have to replace Justin Fields.
Hey, that's such he's a top 25 quarterback in a 32-team league.
But I'm saying it such that he doesn't.
It just sounds
you can't
tough.
draft him and put him on the bench because somebody wants him as a starter. So you got to go find a place for him. But in order to do that, you got to go take Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams decided not to participate in the NFL Combine at all. He showed up and said all the right things, but didn't compete. If you are a decision maker, do you then use that against him?
Can't. It's been done before, and it can't. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter. He'll do his private workout in his own little space, in a safe space, and his mom will hug him at the end of the workout in a blanket. And he's going to get drafted number one, two, or three.
So I got to ask, take your NFL executive hat off. Put on your fan hat. I don't know why you like the Bears, but you do. You know what I mean? Choose your own poison.
From here.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I'll take that. Still.
That's only because Camden don't have a team. But go ahead.
Y'all feel bad I even put Camden out there like that.
He could just let it go. Go ahead.
So as a fan, you are fill in the blank in terms of your emotions when you're when faced with this reality that the Bears indeed might be shipping Justin Fields to get Caleb Williams with the first pick and become your starter. What are your emotions? You're happy, excited.
Not interested.
Not interested. Okay.
Not interested.
Expand.
I'm not over Justin Fields. I don't know. Everybody he's sorry. I mean, Justin Fields is a real productive player. He may not be the traditional, he needs to work on a couple things with the way he throws.
More than a couple things now, but I got you. I was with you till you said this. Don't minimize it. He got a lot to work on too.
Yeah, he throw a little high sometimes, but he threw the ball well in college. I know he had unbelievable receivers in college, but he threw the ball well in college. I think the game. He runs the ball so well. I think I don't know that we need to give up on him. I think we should. I don't know. I don't think Caleb. You're giving up on him to get to get a chance at hopefully this next quarterback, which is the riskiest draft spot ever, right? So I think we're closer with Justin Fields than we think. We can work on some of his shortcomings. He does some things so well, right? He's helped us win so many games, or we've lost despite how well he's played. Yeah,
I'm about to say, hold on, y'all wouldn't have the first pick to help y'all win so many games.
Man, sometimes you gotta let my mistakes go. You gotta let my mistakes go. I'm a work in progress too. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn, what am I saying? But sometimes we lose a game, but Justin Fields balled. Let me say this: if you play fantasy football out there and Justin Fields was your quarterback, he put some points up for you. You know what I mean? He did some great things. I think I'd rather go elsewhere. I'd rather get out of that first pick. I think we have a lot of people who are a lot of good receivers out there. I don't think we have to go get Marvin Harrison if we give it up, but if we get him, so be it. I think there's a lot of good talent out there we could trade back. We're more than one player away from being there, but Fields, you give him a little bit more, and I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I don't know. I don't understand why everybody sees such a sorry deal.
You're on the south side at the barbershop. Give me what the local feel is, because that's your personal feeling. Are Bears fans, local Chicagoans, feeling good about Caleb Williams, or do they feel as though they want to stick with what they're split?
Split. We got half the people want Caleb Williams, half the people, want Marvin Harrison. Not everybody wants Fields here. We got some people who love him, some people who hate on him, whatever. It's a split city, but that's us. That's Chicago. Fair weather. I'm fair weather too, so I'm not gonna recuse myself of that title because I don't know. I didn't like the pick when we picked Fields, right? I didn't want us to pick him. I thought this was a bad pick because I think Ohio State quarterbacks are trash in general. But he came here, and I kind of got to liking him a little bit, man. I kind of felt like I saw a little something.
C.J. Stroud might have lifted the curse. C.J. Stroud,
absolutely. So far, he's the best by 1,000 quarterback to ever come out of Ohio State in my recent lifetime by 1,000. They're all trash. So Fields like, oh man, we draft Fields, and I'm the kind of person that I'm superstitious. So like, that's a good reason for me not to draft you, just because you're from a school where all other quarterbacks that came out your school were trash.
There's got to be something there.
That's the reason.
Something in the water.
Something about them. I don't know. Something about them dudes. You know, I don't think Bama quarterbacks was doing all that. You know what I mean? Then Tua came out doing a little something different. But I always thought like Bama never had a quarterback. Everybody's trash. Don't get them. But I say stay with Fields. I say get other positions, and then if things don't work out and we're a quarterback away, there'll be others.
What's the popcorn spot in Chicago?
Garrett's.
What's the seafood joint that y'all known for? I'm known for Harold's. Not
chicken wings.
Chicken.
J&J Fish is the seafood. Harold is
Fish.
Yeah.
So next time you in one of them things getting that food and one of them arguments pop off, Caleb Williams versus Justin Fields, do me a favor, man. Pull out your camera and record that thing, man. Because I want to hear just how it get down on the local, baby. Chicago, South Side. Let me know what.
It's so split, but I say stay with them. Stay with Fields.
The arguments that you feel as though have been made strong about Caleb Williams. Have you heard anybody locally that's made a really compelling argument for why you would go in the direction of Caleb Williams?
You know, our friend, teammate, loved one, Emmett Mosley thinks Caleb Williams is everything. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He could come in here and do wonders just because of the way he can run and throw. But I just say, I mean, Fields looked like Caleb Williams in college.
I mean, at one point they were saying Caleb Williams was the best prodigy since Andrew Luck. Now, the luster wore off a little bit last year, but you know, I don't think we ever said that about college.
But now we want to put him in the league and we want to give him the keys to the kingdom in a place. You know, again, when people think I'm making too big of a deal about it, but when he was being comforted by his mother under a blanket, like he was, I think he was breastfeeding. There's rumors, there's pictures that he was breastfeeding under there. But when he was comforted,
so like you gonna hate on the man because he got a nice emotional relationship with his mama? That ain't right.
Yeah, because of the time that he's coming to. You coming to Chicago is like going to Philly in some regards.
It's like going to Camden in some regards.
Like going to Camden. Nah, I don't know about all that. We're going to look too far. But, you know, like, I think you're going to get to Chicago, man, and your mama not going to be able to hug you like that. I mean, the dude's like, you know, he gets an interview. I just want to go home and get in my bed and do whatever. He's soft. He didn't play well this year. He don't have the dog in him.
That's how you know you soft when the T is silent. You said the word SOFT, but the T with it, he just soft.
He can't handle the T. He can't handle the T. That's way too much for him. Give me Baker touchdown maker mentality on him, and we can do something. Baker don't give a damn about you or anybody from Camden. He go get Camden gas. He pump his own gas in Camden.
Straight up.
He don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Baker ain't scared of nobody. He'll go wherever he walk on and do whatever.
You're not feeling that. Is it the painted nails or just the crying under the blanket? What is it about
his little nails, all that? I forgot about that little bullshit. He got the little painted nails and stuff. Where's your paint now? He's soft, man. He's soft. He went to the same prep school that one of our good friends went to, right? And we're gonna leave it at that. I don't call people out of their name on shows. So
I got you.
He went to a real soft ass school, and he came out and he's overeducated.
8 Mile. You from private school?
He's from private school. Pembroke. He went to Pembroke. So I don't like him. I don't think he's doing whatever. He's doing too much to me. I'm not with him.
Look, I thought Chicago was going to trade.
I like the dude from Florida State.
Oh, the receiver.
No, sorry. I'm sorry. LSU, the quarterback for LSU.
Oh, dang. I'm like, wait a minute.
No, I was thinking the Florida State quarterback was similar, but he got hurt. But I like the LSU quarterback. I like him.
Well, he won't be around by the second round. So if that's what you do, you got to trade down.
Man, go get JJ McCarthy.
He's
go get him.
JJ,
go get him later and let him sit back and wait and see what's happening and develop a little bit. Let's go get JJ McCarthy.
We'll see, man. But normally by now, and this is
built of Chicago on Chicago water. You know what I'm saying?
JJ McCarthy was. All right, so hometown guy.
Chicago, hometown guy. Let's get him and let him wait.
It's going to be interesting. Normally you have a real read, and maybe the Bears are just playing it close to the chest, but it has been more than rumored that they are trying to shop Justin Fields. But I don't think I would have given up on Justin Fields yet. I wanted to hear sort of both sides of the argument locally in Chicago. So I appreciate you providing that. Keep your ears to the street, man. If an argument pop off at JJ's Fish or Harold's Chicken,
Get JJ McCarthy, and he could be sponsored by J&J Fish.
there you go. See, boy, see, that's what I'm talking about. You got the coordinate.
We bringing people together.
Don't stop there.
There don't be too many white people at J&J Fish, right? It might as well be in Camden. Don't be too many white people in there. Let them. They think that hey, if JJ McCarthy comes to the Bears and he starts to get sponsored by J&J Fish, the white people will think he invented it out here. They'll think he just. Have you heard of J&J Fish? They got this new place.
They got this new place, man. Yeah, JJ McCarthy created it. He'll probably get a fade on the south side on the way. He created the fade and then JJ Fish.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. But what that brings me to is that if you're shopping Justin Fields in order to draft Caleb Williams in a time where in the same week that we heard Denver Broncos, the ride is ending. Russell Wilson will be playing elsewhere. Him done. It looks like he might be playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That has been the favorite in terms of the rumors that have surfaced. The favorite place, the landing place for Russell Wilson is Pittsburgh. Do you like the fact that he might be in Pittsburgh, and do you think it will work out with him and Mike Tomlin? That roster, in order to do so, they'd have to either move on from Kenny Pickett, what's his name? Kenny Pickett, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They'd have to move on or put him on the shelf for a little longer.
Pickett ended the season hurt, right?
I think he was hurt at the end of the season. So they brought in
was
the
having
guy.
a decent. He was doing okay, or am I wrong?
No. It was. He looked very young. He looked young. Flashes, moments, very similar probably to Justin Fields. While Justin Fields probably had a little more productivity and was trusted more. I think 1 year older, right? But yeah, so he was having a pedestrian season with pedestrian numbers and looking very young. So in comes Russell Wilson. Is Russell Wilson the mentor that you would need to stable the locker room, to help groom and grow your young quarterback?
I don't know if Russell Wilson is the mentoring type. So there's a story I read. I don't know what the gentleman's name was, but there's a guy that Russell Wilson had in his pocket, a mental coach. You know, they got this dude mental. And I'll put that on. Take that off the screen, man. We don't do that.
My bad. I just put it in.
Carthy's not trash. I don't know who's wrong with this guy. I don't know who this Scott Bibb guy is. This is a new guy watching the show. Don't talk about my guy like that. Don't talk about my man. But anyway, I won't repeat that for those of you listening and not seeing. We don't have to talk about that. Anyway, he had a mental coach that had passed away, and they say that he's never been the same since. So I think
Russell Wilson, you're talking about, had that. Yeah,
he had a mental coach, and I had read the story about him and saying this guy that like helped him and got him through all the city. Russell's he's a self guy, you know. To me, he's more just like into himself and Sierra. So I don't know that he's the guy to be mentoring anybody on how to be a quarterback in this league. So if you have him, you're bringing him in here because you think he's the guy. It's so hard. Like it's hard when you watch athletes that do so well and just think that they're done so quickly. He had such a good career with Seattle. It's just so hard to think he just can't get right. But I don't
remember Sean Alexander. There's something about Seattle. Like Sean Alexander,
he died in 1 year.
He was up for MVP of the league, and then like a year later, he was terrible.
Do you know what happened a year later? I drafted him with my first pick in my fantasy draft, and that's what happened. It killed him. I killed his career. It's my fault. I'm the one. I got Joe. I got him. Although I did very well in my fantasy this year, but we won't go that way. But yeah, he did. Some people just fall off, and I think he just fell off.
You think Russell Wilson? There will be no flash from the past. There will be no resurgence of what became electric, because while Sean Payton was brought in to do certain things in Denver, it was obvious by the way he treated him at the end. Mm-hmm. Them asking him to essentially take a whole bunch of money and throw it down the drain.
What did happen in that situation?
They were trying to get the injury.
I remember that, but then he ended up just denying to do it.
He told them kick rocks.
And then he got his money.
Well, he wanted to make sure he was protected in the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going to get some of that money, But the Denver Broncos are eating like $83 million in dead money. It's a record. They really don't like him.
With hot sauce.
Russell Wilson told them, you must have bumped your head when they asked them to relinquish that clause, injury protection clause. Like, you got your damn mind. But you really have to dislike him. And I think Sean Payton and Russell Wilson just didn't get along. So I think some of his drop, and towards the end, let's be honest, Russell Wilson had Denver in position to make the playoffs, which was why it was so odd, the timing of them benching him. Mm-hmm. So I'm not willing to give up on Russell Wilson yet, man. I think Russell Wilson he's got to be in the right situation, and Pittsburgh might have that right situation. Other than the quarterback position, right? They got still one of the most dominant defenses. Their coach has just figured out a way to win. They've got some electric receivers. I think he might be in a good position if indeed Russell Wilson comes and has a chip on his shoulder, something to prove, and has some gas in the tank. That's the part that I don't know, because we didn't get to see it in Denver. Because Bronco country, let's ride. That ride ended horribly. One of the worst rides ever in terms of a Hall of Fame quarterback in a new franchise. That ride ended horribly. So we didn't get a chance to see it. I don't know if he has gas in the tank, but if indeed he does, I think that would be a match made in heaven with him going to Pittsburgh. And one in which, as a Cleveland Browns fan, I would hate to see, because it's tough to face Russell Wilson when he is indeed playing like Russell Wilson. So we shall see.
So has he officially gone to Pittsburgh, or they're just
no? That's just one of the places that they're talking about could be in the works. Denver made it public because I guess that was their way of being more professional than they were in the season, and asked that man to eliminate that clause in his contract. That was their way of, I think, letting him know that it was going to happen. It's inevitable, so he can start preparing for what
get his house on the market. Put all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So Atlanta was looking at him. They were looking at Fields too. It seems like they passed
the Giants are looking at him. They're
Trubinsky went. They already got rid of Trubinsky for Buffalo. He's at Buffalo now, so he's no longer with the Steelers. So they're clearing the palette. So I'll go on record and say I think he's going to end up at the Steelers.
Yeah. And I think just those two people, those figureheads, being Mike Tomlin and what he represents for the National Football League and how he carries himself, along with Russell Wilson. And I know when you compare Sierra's love interest, Future versus Russell Wilson, I think Russell Wilson gets the short end of the stick when they talk about him, pun intended, because not only is the shorter guy and he's more well-mannered and he fits in the box, they call him Carlton Banks, it's all because they're comparing him to damn Future. I don't think Russell Wilson is that square. I think he's a good guy. He represents the league very well. I think he would represent the city of Pittsburgh very well. I think it's going to be a good thing for them. So I'm hoping.
Not to sidetrack, but if you're Russell Wilson and your wife used to be a Future, do you question whether she really likes you? Can you like both people? Do you feel like she's with you for the wrong reasons? I don't know. At some point, you got to look at the past and say, how could you possibly?
You know, Russell Wilson called one of his boys like, "Yo, man, I got Sierra's number," and they are envisioning Sierra with Future. They're like, "Boy, you think you're gonna get Sierra? You must have bumped your head."
You must have bumped your head. So
but he got her, man. Shout out.
She probably still talk to Future on the side. I guarantee she got her.
I'm always trying to put gunpowder on my son's cornflakes and bring out the dog in him. And I'll be saying, the saying that nice guys finish last is wrong. Nice guys don't finish last. Nice guys finish dead effing last, because I don't want to bring out the mean in my son. But I got to be honest, man. In this case, I don't think nice guys going to finish last. Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh, and they're going to make it's going to be a good story. It's going to be a good ending to his career. And it's going to be sparked with Mike Tomlin. I hope. Come on, Russell Wilson. Don't make me look bad, man. Or maybe he's trash now. We shall see. The other news in terms of free agency is in NFL is that you got to stay really close to the scene. You got to really pay attention to what's going on, because after the NFL Combine, after they got the draft picks sort of all figured out, we shall see a lot of movement going on in these next several weeks. So stay tuned. In the week that has me scratching my head with some of the stuff that happened in sports. When I get a text from a friend that says, yo, man, you see Mike Tyson took the Jake Paul fight. You know what I responded with?
Must have bumped your head.
You must have bumped your head, man. Iron Mike, the one that's discusses potentially being one of the greatest heavyweights ever, the one that is iconic for introducing Brooklyn and New York City toughness to the entire globe, the one that is arguably on Mount Rushmore of boxing, Iron Mike, about to go fight a YouTube, TikTok sensation, you must have bumped your head. But it's true. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, as of this week, it is official, are going to fight July 20th in Dallas, Texas. And Netflix, this is going to be their first venture into live sports. Netflix is going to show it.
For free.
What do you think, man? Jake Paul, I have been talking about it. Mike Tyson even alluded to it on the podcast. Y'all beat that boy face in. Mike Tyson is coming in. The tail of the tape, the hell with the reach and weight and all that. The tail of the tape, we got to focus on one line item and one line item only. Age. Mike Tyson is coming in 57 years old. Jake Paul is 27 years old. In this episode of You Must Have Bumped Your Head, what do we think when it comes to legacy with Mike Tyson? What do we think in terms of Jake Paul being taken seriously? And then what do we think about the fight? Please chime in. Those who are watching live, you hear Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, and you think what? Big Flow Show starting with you. You hear Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, and you think what?
I'm disappointed in the whole. I'm disappointed in the whole fight. I don't think Mike is down on his luck. I feel like Mike is doing what he got to do. He's got his little podcast. He's doing stuff, and he keeps himself busy. But I just don't like it. I don't like it because I think Jake Paul has a halfway decent chance of knocking him out because I actually thought he was older than he is, but Mike Tyson, 57 years old. So if Jake Paul knocks him out, like I would love it for Mike to knock him the hell out and do whatever, but he's old. If he knocks Jake Paul out or Jake Paul knocks him out, it's really going to bother me, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're legitimizing
I
this.
feel like either outcome bothers me. It's like lose-lose. You got win-win, and
I'm
this
so
is
disappointed. I don't want to see it. I'm mad that you tell me it's free because now I feel like I'm gonna end up watching it.
We're all gonna watch it. Netflix. It's lose, win, because it doesn't matter if Jake Paul wins. It doesn't matter if Mike Tyson wins. From a pugilist and being a purist from a boxing standpoint, we all lose. But Netflix wins. Their real first venture into showing live sports. Live sports is the one TV product that has maintained its value. And you got Iron Mike Tyson, who even at his worst, we loved him. We defended him biting Evander Holyfield's ear just because we loved him.
I hope he bite his nose off if things going bad. But I hope he bite somebody again.
And then you got the one that everyone loves to hate, one of the Paul brothers that through YouTube sensation opportunities became a household name that whether you like him or not has really done well in the ring. He had the one loss to the Fury son.
He lost?
He lost but a real boxer, he lost to Fury's son, Tyson Fury's son. We got to celebrate Netflix. And you are going to watch it. I feel as though they did something monumental in having us in a chokehold because we are all going to watch it. It's like a car crash that you can't turn away from. But damn, Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson legitimizes Jake Paul by even stepping foot in there. He legitimized him by even talking about how he beat his face in. But even more so, we're talking about potentially one of the greats that we think ultimately this fight, win, lose, or draw. And yes, it's just an exhibition. There's really not much at stake other than Mike Tyson's legacy. What happens to Mike Tyson's legacy by being a part of this circus?
His boxing legacy, he stomped on at the end anyway. So we already, it's not like Floyd Mayweather's got this record to protect. I mean, Mike Tyson took fights and he would get out fight. I just needed the money. I did it because I just needed the check. I don't have it anymore. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I just did it for the check. And then he got beat by a lot of people, man. So Mike Tyson has a bad boxing legacy in the end anyway. I like 80s Mike Tyson, late early 90s Mike Tyson. That's the kind of guy I like. But so I know he's just doing it for the loot. I just wish, I don't know.
I feel as though it's like
when
you see someone doing things towards the end of their life and their kids got to step in because they are noticing that there must be some form of dementia, and try to get power of attorney to take over their decision making. I feel like that's what this is. There's no way that this is a sensible decision made by Mike Tyson. Like, this is the definition.
What if he hurts Mike Tyson? What if he put Michael Tyson in a coma or something? I mean, he's old, man. He probably got some loose plaque somewhere he could tap. I don't like it.
In those Southside barbershops, if indeed Jake Paul wins, the story is going to be just like Joe Louis was 100. They're going to say Mike Tyson was 157 years old when he fought Jake Paul. And it's whether or not life imitates art, or art imitates life. Mike Tyson, I can't believe you're doing this. More important than Mike Tyson, I'm not even mad at Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson has been known for being eccentric, doing really wild things. I'm mad at whoever deems himself Mike Tyson's corner, his friends, his advisors. How do you let this happen? Having said that, I will be tuned in. We having a box party. We're going to have a fight party for this.
We're going to have people at the house to come in and just bring yourself a little $20 for the pizza and the beer.
Put a little something on it. But we'll see, man. And the real wild part about this is that this was revealed in a week that the heavyweight division was supposed to be revived. Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou are fighting this weekend in a revival of the heavyweight division. And the biggest story in boxing is that Mike Tyson is fighting Jake Paul. If that is not evidence of where we are in boxing, if that is not evidence that UFC has definitely put boxing in a chokehold, made them tap out as being a competitor, as a product, then that's it. A real heavyweight fight between two contenders is happening this weekend. And the biggest story in boxing is Mike Tyson signing to fight Jake Paul.
And that's just because me and you haven't signed our ticket to fight yet. Imagine what we would do to the internet.
Oh, we kill them, baby. Ours going to be on IG Live. You know what I mean? Netflix might not be trying to get us shit yet, but we're going to be on IG Live. It's sad day of affairs, sad state of affairs for boxing when that's the biggest story in boxing. And when someone tells me, yeah, man, it's official, Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul, I respond, well, you must have bumped your head. And the truth of the matter is, I must have bumped my head. Mike Tyson is taking that check. Jake Paul is taking that check. Netflix is taking that check. And we all going to take it all in and watch the fight. It is what it is.
I hope I got something to do that weekend.
You do. You got to come to my fight party if you in town.
Somebody got something to do.
Let's go home with this, man, because the injuries seem to be taking over the NBA. We talked about Karl Anthony Towns' injury and how Ant-Man has stepped up. And you think I'm crazy for saying it. I automatically put him in the MVP race because he went vertical in that block, but also he's gone vertical in terms of his importance to that team if they are able to stay as the number one seed in the West. But the injury, Karl Anthony Towns, he is out with a meniscus, at least to miss a month. On the last night, you had Steph Curry. Steph Curry left with an ankle injury. That ankle been giving him hell to pay, Jack, throughout his career. You've got on the Eastern side, you got Joel Embiid that's out. The 76ers have gone down considerably since he's been hurt. Ben Simmons, yesterday was announced that he's out for the season.
I didn't even know he was back.
Yeah, he's back. He's back, but he's not back anymore. These NBA injuries are going to impact the playoffs. Right now, you've got Golden State at the 9 seed, the Lakers at the 10 seed. We'll see who comes out of the West. We'll see who comes out of the East. But this season, and the headlines being the injuries, being the first season, there has been some tie-in, a stipulation that in order to qualify for things like superlatives like the NBA MVP award, you've got to play a certain amount of games. Do we want to make the correlation yet that the injuries are up because they're playing more games?
But are they? I mean, still 82 games. I mean,
I know, but with load management over the years, right? Now, Kawhi Leonard's played more games. I think he's played in 5 years. It's a contract year. He's straight up balling. Maybe I went a little too far about Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man being in MVP talks. I'm not going too far when I say Kawhi Leonard's in MVP talks. But load management has sort of been pushed aside with the stipulation that you got to play a certain number of games. We'll see how it plays out. But the injuries being the headline, it's early, but these are going to impact the playoffs. Karl Anthony Towns' injury will impact the playoffs. Joel Embiid injury will impact the playoffs. Now, the whole Ja Morant thing, he probably will, because of the suspension, it was too late. It was too far gone for them to make the playoffs. But we'll see how it plays out, man. Interesting time. I'll give you. Do you want to say your Lakers in 6? What you got going? How the injuries going to impact the playoffs? What do you see coming out? We saw what could be a preview of the NBA Finals last night with Denver and playing Boston. Boston had been playing lights out. Denver came out victorious with a last-minute amazing play by the Joker again. But Jason Tatum had a wide-open three-pointer after Jaylen Brown steal that would have given Boston the lead. Maybe a preview into the finals. Do you see Boston coming out the East, Denver coming out the West? And then we'll take it home from there. Give me your prediction for NBA as we are getting closer, dangerously close to the playoffs.
I think it's hard to vote against Denver. I mean, at the end of the day, I still think the Joker is probably the most dominant force in basketball right now, just in the way he plays, the way his luck factor and all the different things like that. The East, I'll be making an uneducated guess in the East. I need to put a little more homework in to see who I really like out the East. But at the end of the day, Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 6. In the East, of course, I'm gonna say Miami. But we're down to 6 right now because of injuries. The Knicks have taken a turn for the worse. They're down to, I think, the 4 seed now, maybe even the 5 seed. So it should be interesting who comes out. For those who are still watching us live, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody you know, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. I throw the same question as you as the playoffs are looming, as we're getting close. Who do you have coming out of the West? Who do you have coming out of the East? In this episode, you must have bumped your head. Let me know that who you got, because everyone said that last night was a preview of the finals when we saw Boston and Denver. And my response then was, you must have bumped your head. I thought it was more of a preview last night. Miami and Dallas might be a preview of the finals because Kyrie and Luka have started playing very well together. So we shall see, man. It's going to be an interesting year. It has not been a dominant team. The teams that we thought were going to be the top teams have not, respectively, other than Boston. And so we'll see who comes out of the NBA East and West Conference. I like that, man. Whoever this is, that knuckle, I don't know what that means. Says he got Denver or Dallas coming out of the West. And we'll see who he's got coming out of the East. I like his name. And let's get out of here with this. And then must have bumped your head episode. I'll give you the spotlight moment. Anything you want to go home with? Sports, business, entertainment.
I think you just bumped your head.
Yeah, I just
Nothing.
bumped my head.
Hey, shout out to everybody, man. That's all it is. Shout out to, I'm kind of speechless. Shout out to everybody, man. Appreciate all the new listeners. See, we got a lot of people watching today. A lot of people coming in from YouTube, and we appreciate that. Keep spread the word. We're having a great time out here. We just need more of you guys out there watching us. Appreciate you.
In order to get more people, again, I'll ask you one more time. Please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. It was just 2 of the crew in the building today. We had a good time. My ball hog spotlight moment. I'm at half court. I got the ball. I got to protect the ball. I got to make sure that we go home with a dub. So the spotlight's on me. And for me, man, this is the time of year that I'm really, really, really enjoying. pay attention for you guys who are in AAU basketball. When I say you guys, whether it be moms, dads, the actual players, this is the time of year that you stop what you're doing. Watch the conference finals. Watch March Madness as it plays out. Pay attention to the games. Pay attention to the players that are making big plays and big-time moments. Those are the ones that are normally getting their name called in the NBA draft. But also pay attention to, from a strategy standpoint, how at the collegiate level, the team game still surpasses individual play. And that's why I love March Madness. It's the purest thing in all of sports. Single game elimination, baby. You ain't got time to tune up. You ain't got time to transition. You ain't got time to get ready. It's either win or go home. And that's why I love this doggone time of year. It's March Madness time, man. So enjoy it. Make sure you get you some popcorn, get you a beer, and enjoy you some basketball this weekend, because the games are that much more important. Every game is very important as we figure out who's in, who's out, who will be watching from the sideline, who's going to be going to the NIT. I almost say NIL. We say NIL so much that I almost say who's going to be going to NIT, who's going to the big dance, man. Pull up a seat, make sure you watch. We had the Big Flow Show in the building. I am your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. The Ball Hall, a.k.a. The Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, a.k.a. Breezy, a.k.a. someone that is forever indebted to your humanity, your support, and still asking for more support. Please spread the word by liking, sharing, comment, tagging a friend, tagging a foe, and subscribing. We'll be back. This has been the Ball Hog Sports Talk. This has been the You Must Have Bumped Your Head episode. This has been our labor of love. And this has been just this week, because we'll be back next week with more fire, more fire, more fire. So make sure that you tune in next week. We'll be back. It's the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide, where some businessmen get together to discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. Make sure that y'all catch us next week. With that, any parting words, Big Flo?
Have a good weekend.
With that, we is out. Peace.